Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to see about the visceral relations of the stomach, blood supply, nerve supply and lymphatic drainage. So in the previous video, we saw about the peritoneal relations of the stomach. If you want to watch the video, please do check the description box for the link. So this visceral relations of the stomach, it falls into two categories with anterior and posterior relations, right? So the anterior relation of the stomach, actually it is formed by the liver, then some portion of the diaphragm, then the transverse colon, and anteriorly it is bounded by the abdominal wall. Once again, I am repeating the anterior visceral relations of the stomach. So the anterior relations are the liver, diaphragm, transverse colon and the anterior abdominal wall. Coming to the posterior relations. So the posterior relation, it is actually formed by the stomach bed. So the structures forming the posterior relation of the stomach, it is referred to as stomach bed. Let us now see the posterior relations of the stomach. So the posterior relation, it is formed by some portion of the diaphragm. Imagine that the stomach is now made transparent so that you could see the posterior side of the stomach, right? So some portion of the diaphragm, then left kidney, then left suprarenal gland above the left kidney, and then the spleen, then the splenic artery supplying the spleen, then of course the pancreas, then here you could see some portion of the peritoneum hanging from the posterior abdominal wall to the transverse colon. So that is called as the mesocolon, right? Then the next relation is formed by the splenic flexure of colon. Once again, I am repeating the posterior relations. So the posterior relations of the stomach, it is formed by the diaphragm, then left suprarenal gland, then left kidney, then splenic artery, then spleen, then pancreas, and the mesocolon hanging out from the posterior abdominal wall connecting the transverse colon, then the splenic flexure of colon. Now coming to the blood supply of the stomach. So the blood supply of the stomach is by the arteries mainly derived from the celiac trunk. So see, this is the celiac trunk and it is derived from the abdominal aorta. From the celiac trunk arises a branch called the left gastric artery. It supplies the stomach along the lesser curvature. So it supplies the stomach along the lesser curvature. So from the celiac trunk arises another branch called the common hepatic artery. This common hepatic artery in turn gives a branch called the gastroduodenal artery for the stomach as well as for the duodenum. From the gastroduodenal artery arises another branch called the superior pancreaticoduodenal artery for the pancreas as well as for the first part of the duodenum. So then another branch called the right gastroepiploic artery also rises from the gastroduodenal artery and it supplies the lower part of the greater curvature of the stomach. Then once the common hepatic artery gives the gastroduodenal artery, it continues as the proper hepatic artery. From the proper hepatic artery arises a branch called the right gastric artery supplying the lower portion along the lesser curvature of the stomach, and another branch it continues as the hepatic artery which then further divides into right hepatic and left hepatic artery. Then coming to another branch which arises from the celiac trunk and it is called as the splenic artery supplying the spleen. So it passes behind the stomach and reaches the spleen. This splenic artery in turn gives short gastric branches to the greater curvature of the stomach and also the splenic branches. This splenic artery it also gives rise to another artery called the left gastroepiploic artery supplying the upper portion along the greater curvature of the stomach. So this right gastroepiploic artery and left gastroepiploic artery anastomoses with each other along the greater curvature of the stomach, and this left gastric artery arising from the celiac trunk and this right gastric artery arising from the proper hepatic artery, they both anastomose along the lesser curvature of the stomach. Once again, let us coming to a quick revision of the blood supply of the stomach. So the blood supply is mainly by the arteries derived from the celiac trunk. Celiac trunk is in turn a branch from the abdominal aorta. So from the celiac trunk arises a branch called the left gastric artery, which supplies the stomach along the lesser curvature of the stomach. And then from celiac trunk rises another branch called the common hepatic artery. So once it gives the gastroduodenal artery, it is called as the proper hepatic artery. From the gastroduodenal artery arises two branches. One is the superior pancreaticoduodenal artery for the pancreas as well as for the first part of the duodenum. Then another branch called the right gastroepiploic artery also rises from the gastroduodenal artery. Then this proper hepatic artery divides into two. One is the right gastric artery and the other one is the hepatic artery. Hepatic artery supplies the liver, and this right gastric artery anastomoses with the left gastric artery along the lesser curvature of the stomach. Then the celiac trunk also gives a splenic artery to the spleen. From that arises many short gastric branches supplying the stomach, and also another branch called the left gastroepiploic artery. This anastomoses with the right gastroepiploic artery along the greater curvature of the stomach. So this right gastroepiploic artery anastomoses with the left gastroepiploic artery.